Today, this video is quite long. It's for my botany collection, and it's about how a vine grows and how it's electrical. It's pretty long. It's over the whole summer, from hopefully relatively beginning to end to the seed pods opening. So hopefully you might find it interesting. If you understand what I've said in this video, then you will understand pretty much how all plants and all vines grow. Thanks a lot. Okay, so here we are again, second year in a row. This was the vine that I showed last year that crawled up here, and I explained it by electrical meanings and what it was doing. I didn't know if it would come back to life, but it has. I guess it must be like a bulb kind of vine plant, whatever it is, because last year it sent out 2 leaders. I've chopped everything away. This year, as you can see all 6 there, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you got your 2 brown old ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4 this year. These 2, the first 2, have begun spiraling around the old one. One of the leaders has taken a left-hand turn here for some reason towards this branch, because the energy field is out here. Or it may even be going this way, who knows, but it's being attracted to it. The original first leader of the 2 is crawling its way up here, so we'll watch that. But what I wanted to show was these 2. So you got one here and you got one there. I bring this up and out. They are now facing each other. They're both turned towards each other, which makes me think they're going to do exactly what this one's doing, which again, if you look there, is twisting clockwise. So one of those is twisting counterclockwise, one's twisting clockwise, but they're both twisting clockwise. But yeah, that's interesting. I'll be back to video this again. But these 2 are now facing each other, which I think is pretty cool. So I'm thinking they're going to start joining up. And it's got nothing to do with anything with plants. It's electrical attraction. One is a counterclockwise and one is a clockwise. Opposites attract, and that's what these 2 are doing. And they've come from 4. 2 already joined. These 2 are about to, because it is electrical behaviour of a vine plant. That's what vines do. They behave electrically. And that's why the Bible uses the vine as an example, because God is electric, and so is the vine that connects us to Him and everything else. Thanks very much. My name is Lee, and I'm a Christian. Hey, we're back at the plant today. Now I've had to make a bit of a repair here, because the old stem is now getting weighed down by the new stem. So I've put a bit of cling film around there, because I don't have any tape. Don't ask me where my tape is, I have no idea. So that's a bit of cling film, just holding it to where it wraps up. So right now we got the leader in there, growing away, crawling around clockwise, because that's the way they go. And this one is just down here, bent over, the other one's up there. And if we have a look at these 2, oh, look at them! Those 2 have now crossed each other. So there is electrical behaviour of these 2 vines, 1 and 2, and they are a pair to this pair. But these 2 have now crossed. These crossed, well, what do you know? So let's find out where they crossed. So right here, they are not crossing, not crossing, they cross right there. If I put my hand across, so you can see both. So this is crossing right here, and they're crossing right there. So there's an electrical level in the atmosphere right here. Otherwise, why would they both cross at the same point? Let's take off the old dead leaf there, and that one. So yeah, right here is where these start rotating, right there. And these ones about ½ an inch above. So there we go. So it's a bit windy, but yeah, there we have the electrical cross, because a Birkeland current going upwards is not a tube. It can be, because these are tubes, and that's a Birkeland current with a heteromac rollover point right there. There's me a rollover halo wave. There's your two vortices coming out of the side. Oh, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so these are tubes, but due to the size of this tube, which is around about this wide, which has energy running through it, it's flat. It's flat from the side, and so it makes a cross. This is how you get an X point, an X pinch point in space as well, because it's tubes, but then you get bigger tubes which are squashed flat by other EM fields, and so that's where they cross, and then they start to twist. So there we go, electrical behaviour within the vine. Okay, we will check that on day 3. This is day 2. Okay, we're out here. It's only a couple of hours later, but already they have twisted again. So that was the first twist earlier, same as the one that was just here. Don't know what you can see. Come on, torch, don't be Scooby-Dooing me now. So yeah, one twist, and that's the second one that's going on there. So as you can see, it is double helix rotation is what it's following. So unless you think plants have got brains or think or anything like that, then what can be seen as a conclusion here is that vines follow electrical EM fields. And the fact that it's moving upwards and twisting in a double helix, that is clockwise, which is how sun flares escape from the sun. Well, there we go, electrical behaviour of the vine. This is about 6 hours later. I'll have a look again tomorrow. Yay, here we are. Video 3 or 4. Yesterday, last night, I showed this, where it had cross right there. But now, and formed a double helix. But now, as you can see, we have, so we've got 1 crossover, 2, 3. So that is just now twining around itself. It's decided to go sideways and follow an EM field over that way. So there we go, 2-year experiment so far, showing that vine leaders will grow as 2 separates, and once they reach an EM field level where energy is now going side to side, this goes up and then it meets a field that goes this way. This is a heteromac field area. This is where energy rolls over and is forced sideways, which is why it starts to twist. That's the reason there is a sideways field. They came up straight as 2 vortices. Now they've hit a field that is going in both directions, and so they have been rotated clockwise. And now they're going sideways. Because, you know, why isn't it facing upwards? Like this one that grew all the way up here. There isn't any reason except for the fact it's now following a different electrical field. Okay, now this is really exciting. Look at that. The 2 at the back have been round to the front. This is later the same day as the previous video. Now I'm just going to prove something to you here, because you all saw it and it was over here. So I'm going to push this back to show that I haven't moved it anywhere. You see that? That was not doing that before. I'll try and just a little bit and it falls back. A lot and it just falls back. So I'm going to put it back where it was, which was just there. So yeah, it was facing in the opposite direction. See, this is where slow motion cameras would be an absolute dream. So yeah, that has decided to go from bending to the left to bending to the right. And I say that, it hasn't decided. It's the electrical content in the air. I believe they bent that way just because of the way they spiral together, but then the electrical current has literally pulled it. To there. Which is wonderful electrical behaviour, because there's no other reason that it stopped pointing that way and is now pointing this way, other than that this is now generating a field. So I'm believing that is going to start climbing up this. And if we go up here, this is now grown up to here. I'm really sad that that snapped, because that's introduced a piece of crap that I didn't really want in this experiment, so to speak. But one's going one way and one's going the other. So they've split and they're going to hook around. Well, there we go. So yeah, I think that's extremely exciting and extremely good looking proof that vines are electrical. Which again goes to show that Jesus talking about the vine is also electrical. Thanks very much. My name is Lee and I'm a Christian. Okay, here we are back at the vine. What's going on today? Well, as we can see, this vine is now upright. It's kind of pointing to the side compared to where it was. Now, I'm going to try and explain something here. Now this is moving like this. The reason it's doing that is because this is a vortex and this is the top of the vortex, which is a funnel. And so while it spins, it will spin it round like that, because the top is open-ended, because it has two leaders, which are the two vortices. But the whole thing is spinning in a clockwise vortex, as can be seen by the stem. Which is why it was facing this plant yesterday, because it was like that, and then as it rotated it did that, and it rotated into the leaf. Now it has been full of water and energy from the day, because energy comes up out of the ground, pushes the water with it because the energy is contained in the water. Energy rises, water rises, and it forces the plant, and it's making the plant rotate because it is energy, and all energy rotates. What's going on with this one? Okay, well, we have the two leaders here from the one vortex, because it split down here. So it was into a single vortex, then it decided to separate, which again would mean two differing paths. This one has vortexed its way up here clockwise, and then it has again split into two leaders, one there and one there at the top. One's going round clockwise, one counterclockwise, because that's what two leaders in a vortex or a lightning bolt do. One is clockwise, one is counterclockwise, and both are spinning clockwise, and they're following energy. Not sure what this guy's going to do, but again, he's now split into two leaders. So one is going to go one way and one is going to go the other. Okay, I think here we are on about maybe day 4. Let's see how many twists this is pulled out now. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 twists have rotated since the first one, which rotates here, and is exactly the same over here. That's where it rotates at the same height. This one splits here, one piece comes over here, but it has now decided to turn back towards the other one, and this one, the leader, has wrapped around this clockwise, which is the upward mode of travel for electricity. Electricity travels clockwise with two leaders, one travelling counterclockwise and one travelling clockwise, but they both rotate clockwise. So yeah, it's getting taller, getting more twists from the point where it first twisted. So here we go, it's constantly rotating its two tips in a funnel, which is why this is over to one side. This is one half of a funnel that it would swing round. And I've shown videos of sun tornadoes swinging around, looking, generally like that. A vortex coming out, an arm looping over, and it swings round in a trumpet vortex, which is what this is doing. Because vines are grown by electricity and they follow electrical EM fields. This is a good 2-year experiment. Okay, here we are early morning at the plant again. We have our bottom rotation here. This is our first two. This is our other two. They are now bending back to the plant. They may well join up because this field is getting bigger. And so it is drawing and conducting more energy from the ground into this stem. So this may well be pulled into this one by this one's electrical energy field. We will have to see. It's bending right in right now. And if we go up here, because I've just said this may well be generating, that's why that's turning in. This one is also turning back in to the main line. So these are branching off. Maybe they can't reach anything. Maybe the field diminishes, so they turn back to the stronger field. And that's could be what's happening here. We'll see. If they join up, then hey, what I predicted happened. So I'm saying that this is an electrical field. These are electrical leaders coming off it, and they're going to try and join back up with the main field, which is generating a larger field every day because it's getting bigger every day. And again, we have more clockwise rotation there, and it's gone between the two old stems, but it's continuing to rotate around clockwise. So that's the original field line that it followed. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, now what I have now is I want to look at this old line here. Now what I can notice, and I would like electrical engineers to look at this and see what it's doing electrically. There is one stem that seems to be going straight, and there is one wrapping around counterclockwise. I'm going to look up electrical flow, obviously, because I don't really do any of that because I seem to know everything. And so the straight piece through there, as you can see, there is a straight piece and there is one wrapping around it. So if that's what happens in an electrical field, then everything I have said about electrical travel and the vine is electrical travel, and that's why it's also mentioned in the Bible, because electricity is life, then that will be another confirmation by observational evidence that what I say is true. So yeah, one main line there and one is wrapping around. Unfortunately, I can't tell on this bit, so hopefully it'll be a bit plainer when it climbs up here. But yeah, there is one straight one and one wraparound, as well as these side offshoot vortices which become leaves. So, electrical engineers, look and listen and see if we're all learning. Thanks very much. My name's Lee and I'm a Christian. Okay, so here's my explanation, now that I've just said all that, about why one is straight and one is going clockwise around it. Well, one of the leaders, as I've said, is travelling counterclockwise and one is travelling clockwise, but they're both spinning clockwise. And so I say that the one in the middle is the counterclockwise spin, which is now cancelled out the clockwise spin, but the leader that is travelling clockwise spins clockwise. But because the centre straight line is spinning counterclockwise, it now spins straight because it has counted out the double helix clockwise motion. So yeah, the straight piece is only straight because it's travelling clockwise, but the entire field, it's travelling counterclockwise, but the entire field of that line is travelling clockwise. So the counterclockwise cancels out the clockwise and becomes straight. Okay, so here we are again. This is, I think, day 5 or 6. We have a stem growing here, which is now, from this point here, given itself, we had 8 the other day, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then a final twist at the top here. This is now running parallel to this one, and we saw an anomaly here where last year's 2 growths did not intertwine but kind of buckled and were pushed to one side. The rotating magnetic field, let's just say for argument's sake, separated from the current and was pushed around to one side. This is because current and magnetism are attached by a heart shape. I call this a halo wave because it doesn't kind of actually meet. It is like sticking your arms in front of you and touching your fingers. That's your magnetic field. If you push them behind your back, that's the other magnetic field. So it would be like wrapping your arms around yourself, one behind your back and one in front of you, but then deciding to put your arms at arm's length and touch your fingertips. That would be the electromagnetic field moving over. So yeah, the current was going straight, but the magnetic field, which was rotating, which I showed in a post the other day, was pushed to one side. And the same thing happened with the green stem. It just started buckling, and I said it was to do with probably this branch here and this branch over here, and the interfering waves buckling or pushing the EM field around the stem here. And so we now see that it is entwined itself around. So that's the top leaf of it there, and it has, since yesterday, it has wrapped itself round once, twice, once or twice, maybe 3, I'm not sure. Twice with the big leaves, but then that other little leaf in there has done it as well. So there we go. Some kind of electromagnetic disturbance right here, confirmed over 2 years, and now they have rejoined back. So there we go. That is electrical behaviour. And meanwhile, the plant tip is just reaching for the sky. So it'll be the end of the season when it finally kind of gets up there. We'll have to see what it does, because it has bypassed this branch because it snapped right there, the little spirally one, and it has gone straight up. So we might see what that does, but I think I've got everything I want for now. So this will be on video. Bit of a long video, but I answer my own questions. But yeah, that's an impressive part of the second year of the experiment. Is it did exactly the same thing as the previous growth, and so it is nothing to do with DNA code, because there are now 2 of them. It is to do with interference from these 2 branches. So as a botany experiment for the future, it would be good to set up this kind of growing plant with other plants around, a control plant with nothing around it, and yeah, that could be a minimum 2-year experiment, probably a 4 to 5 year experiment. Well, there we go. The electrical vine doing electrical things. Thanks very much. My name is Lee, and I'm a Christian. Okay, here we are again today with our vine. And it's starting to go to seed, as you can see here. I have said that plants are activated by an electrical frequency, and different frequencies activate different parts of the DNA code. So now I'm going to explain what petals are for on the flower, I think. So here we go. So what we have here is the pollinated flowers. Now, here's what it did. So the electrical capability of the plant has obviously sent out flowers. How do I explain this? Come on. So the petals come out, and these are attached to the green bit at the bottom there. I'm sorry about my rubbish camera not focusing properly, but as you can see, the green little cup bit on the back there, and then the browny purple flower at the front. The petals funnel the sun's energy into that spot. That's what they are designed to do. They're designed to soak it up like a radar dish,
and direct it into the center, because as we can see here, this then comes out with the flower on it, with the green cup piece at the back. So between the flower and the cup, there is the seeding area DNA, let's say. I have to, just to keep the conversation going. So the extra energy that the DNA code at this point is receiving from the sun activates the DNA code that sends the reproduction cycle into seed. That's the whole point of the sunlight. Once it's been pollinated, then you've got male and female together. But you still need the energy, which is what the petals are doing. They are drawing energy in like a radar dish. And then once it has been pollinated, the energy that it has received and stored there is then given to the two pieces of DNA, the same as all organic things. The energy is then run through the pollinated area and makes it grow a seed. And they come off of here and shoot out. So it goes from a vortex at the back there. And what does it do? It splits into two waves. Again, vortex to a rollover halo wave, which is the vortex, which is clockwise and counterclockwise together, pushing through each other and going sideways in the opposite side of the way they're travelling. So they cross through each other and become a rolling wave, but because of the DNA structure, you get two seed pods. Instead of two leaves, you get two seed pods. It's all vortex to wave and back again. So yeah, that's what flower petals are for, basically. Is to pull in energy like a radar dish. And just for a bit of measure, here's the plant here. It's about to grow up to here, probably latch hold of here, and the vine up here is now, because there's the original one right there, and then now we have this one here travelling straight upwards, so we'll have to see if it joins up there. But yeah, today's lesson all about what petals are really actually doing. They're to draw things in, but it's an energy funnel. It is a radar dish, and what do radar dishes do? They send all the signal into the middle. Men copy, nothing more. They are copying the movement of energy. Thanks very much. Now again, it's been about a week's worth of videoing of this growing vine, and today I just wanted to show that it would appear at the top leader, despite this being in the middle of the experiment, it would appear that this is now going to follow this line here, which is the original signal. We seem to be bending over towards this branch here. So maybe I'll give it a few more days to see if it will reattach itself, which again would show that it's been following an electrical line. There's a heck of a lot of twists going up on this one. As we can see, rotations everywhere, because it's a rotating funnel. That is now again winding around the main stem and following it. Thanks a lot. Okay, here we are back at the vine. What's going on today? So this has been going on for about, I don't know, week and a half now that I've been doing this. Today is Tuesday, June the 29th, could be, not sure. So let's see what this is doing today. So we had two shoots which intertwined, split here, came to here, one shot up here, and then seemed to be in mid-air. But as we can see, as of today, it came up and it joined where the old one was. So that has now taken a good turn around there. The second leader, which split itself off there and then rejoined here because there was some kind of EM field disturbance here that also happened last year, and then it recombined here, came back in, boom, more clockwise twisting, and right now it's here and it's trying to get over this cellophane that I used to pin up the old one because it all crashed to the floor down there and we didn't want any of that. I wanted to see what would happen. So yeah, the first one, which way did it go? Okay, yeah, it went round clockwise, came around to here, fastened onto the old piece, shot over here, and then now has reattached itself to the original field line rotation, I guess, because it's following the old line, except now there are 4. This one, on the meantime, has swung because it was here. Now it has decided to swing out here. Now it was over here the other day, it was just below here. If I lift it up, it was like that, but now it's gone over here. And there seemed to be a crushing of the spirals. I don't know if that is because it bumped into this EM field and just got squashed, and so now it has been moved over, so to speak, because it didn't seem to be able to get any higher. We'd never know without a controlled experiment with about 20 plants, with trees, no trees, false trees, all that kind of thing, to see if the EM field behaviour will happen. Seed pods, on the other hand, are getting massive, so that's like about 2 inches long now on either side. Again, vortex to 2 waves, rollover, halo wave, the beginning of a heteromac, except it doesn't roll round into a Ouroboros torus field. Instead, the DNA code sends the 2 waves, which we can see here. So you have a vortex there, and then 2 waves, one travelling clockwise, one travelling counterclockwise. And the seeds are getting smaller and back to flowers the higher we get up. So yeah, this has flowered and gone to seed down here, but due to new growth, there are new flowers up here which will go to seed later, I believe. So that's it for today. I really want to see if this guy starts following this line here, which snapped from here, and I want to see, I'm thinking it's going to follow it to about here, and then it's going to shoot across and it's going to drop this, because the field line, that's what it's following. It will follow the field line, it won't follow this. It will stop up here somewhere and it will climb across to here, is what I think is going to happen, because that would be electrical behaviour. It is searching for an electrical connection. That's what vines do. It will search for the electrical connection, and energy attracts matter. And so this small matter will get attracted by this large field, because this matter is larger, so the field will be larger. So this will get attracted to the next largest field. Right now it's been attracted to the field on this tree, but when it got up to here it needed more energy and it came across to here. So I'm expecting that to happen again. So depending on that, it should probably be about 3 days, and we'll see if we get up there and see what happens across here. So this is going to be like a 3-week video. I wonder if I'll ever make this video. We shall see. Thanks a lot. That's it for today. And here we are today. What is today? August the 26th, 2016. There we go. This is the vine that I was recording. It never got any higher than that. It never made its way up here, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. So we're at the bursting of the seeds stage. Now, that one there is this one here that is now split in half. Those 2 pieces right there. And this one here, can you see that? You see the split in it? It's got little tufty bits sticking out right there. Basically, all the energy that made the pods shoot out with seeds has gone. So it is now drying up basically because there's no energy flowing through it, so there's no water flowing through it. And the only thing left to do is the design of the pod will split and break in half. That side is full of seeds and this side is full of seeds. This is exactly the same as the Birkeland Current seed pods that I showed the other week. And inside is all the fluffies. As you can see, there they are. And I've actually got a couple of photos that I'm going to show you in a minute, because basically they are also a pine cone arrangement of seeds on either side. You can't see it here, but they're on the other side is the brown seeds, and they are in a pine cone pattern, which is also a scale pattern, as in skin scales, hair scales, fish scales, pine cone scales, anything that looks like that. That's the arrangement of the seed pods. So again, the pine cone is a double helix arrangement, both up and down, and when it's open as well. So yeah, I'll bring those up. So yeah, this is the last video because it didn't really do much. And the second part of it, which was kind of flopping down there, just eventually collapsed. And basically it just kind of rolls around from here to here during the day and during the night. If I had a slow motion camera or a stop motion camera or whatever, I'd like to film that splitting open, because I'm sure it looks pretty good. And one final note about the whole thing, I've got more in the garden over there. There's about 3 of them along that hedgerow, and they start off as a single one. So this one that was dried out, was a 2-year bulb vine, I guess, because it must have a bulb, because otherwise it wouldn't be growing in the same spot year after year with more vines. So they start off as 1, then they become 2, and then this year it's become 4. So it'd be interesting to see what it'll look like next year. But again, yep, Birkeland Current pine cone configuration of seeds with 2 sides, clockwise and counterclockwise. Yeah, this would probably be a really long video. Thanks very much. That was a botany special on whatever plant this is, some kind of vine. Thanks very much. My name is Lee, and I'm a Christian.